Let's continue our journey this week of reviewing articles because it seems like that's the thing to do. The next article is titled, Can We Do 100% Scrum and Save Simultaneously? I can already tell you I have bad feelings about where this is going to go, but I'm curious to see where this takes it. So let's just get straight into the article before I disclose who the author is. This question emerged during a recent Scrum.org professional Scrum Master advanced training in Germany. Okay. Some time ago, the company started an agile transformation and hired me to learn more, not me, the author, to learn more about Scrum and how it could benefit them. As part of the training, we used an exercise to clarify the roles of the product owner, the Scrum Master, and the developers. Makes sense. The steps of the exercise are form small groups and give everyone cards containing the work and tasks necessary to do Scrum. Next, connect the cards with the tasks to the roles, Scrum Master, Product Owner, Developer, etc., based on a professional Scrum environment, the way Scrum is intended according to the Scrum Guide. Step 3, determine how Scrum is used in your organization. Place dots on the cards that, in your experience, are managed differently. Step 4, discuss the differences, how they impact Scrum, and more importantly, the underlying values and principles. During the debrief, many participants noticed that most of the cards related to the product owner contain dots, meaning that someone else is responsible for this work. For example, the product owner is not responsible for product budget, roadmap, return on investment, etc. This could result in a powerless product owner, dependencies, and lots of bottlenecks. At this moment, someone shared that they're also experimenting with SAFe, and the product manager is doing most of the product owner's work. Aha! They decided to pick the parts from SAFe that they considered valuable. Interestingly, they chose not to use RTEs because they expected a Scrum Master to step up and broaden that set of responsibilities. But because of the product's complexity, they wanted a product manager, bigger picture, and a product owner close to the team for more detailed work. During the remainder of the training, we frequently discussed the possibilities of doing 100% Scrum and SAFe simultaneously. My answer to this question is you can't. I was waiting for that. You can't do 100% Scrum and SAFe simultaneously. It requires trade-offs. Does this mean it's wrong? Not necessarily. I'll be the last to claim you always need to do 100% Scrum, and despite not being a SAFe supporter, I also don't despise it. I can see the value of SAFe in some organizations. Okay, that was the whole article pretty much. So I'm just going to pause there. Here we go. So, taking it from the top, I'm going all the way back to the top. Here we go. So, I love that they describe the setting, a professional Scrum Master advanced training in Germany. I think that's great. I do also hold a professional Scrum Master, so I get the whole Scrum.org work and how it all pieces together, right? How it all applies together. What's interesting is I am a certified Scrum trainer from Scrum Alliance, and I don't necessarily consider Scrum.org a competitor. What I'm saying is Scrum.org is what stays most true to the Scrum Guide, and it really focuses on the delivery framework that allows Scrum to be successful in the bigger picture scenario. So if you think about it from that perspective, most of what Scrum.org is doing makes a lot of sense. So there you go. And I love the exercise. When you went into the exercise and described how you're aligning roles and how you put the stickers on. Now, I will say this. I call it the big three. One of the big three things that I'm hearing right now is this shift from product ownership to product management. There's also a shift from typical Scrum Master responsibilities to more change management, and a shift from developing and writing code to quality management. So I'm seeing those three things shift, but I want to focus in on the one that you did, the product management versus product ownership. And I love the way that you aligned and said that the product owner is not responsible for budget, roadmap, return on investment, etc. But then that product owner becomes quite powerless. This is prevalent in SAFe. I'm going to say it again. This is prevalent in SAFe. The only way, without no pun intended, I'll tell you that up front, but the only way SAFe is actually safe is if you're doing essential SAFe. So let me say that again without the acronym. The only way that applying scaled agile to what you do, the scaled agile framework, is if you're using the essential scaled agile framework in order for you to feel safe or better about what you're trying to do. most of what is in Essential Safe works really well and couples with understanding the entire agile delivery framework. It doesn't just focus on solely delivery. It includes things from ideation and discovery. It even incorporates release. And I'm not just talking about the role of release trained engineer. It incorporates the principle of release. And I think that that's probably one of the smartest things that SAFe ever did. So when we're talking about SAFe, I am also a SAFe SPC. Go figure, right? So I kind of have my foot in all three of these pools, and I also have the traditional PMP. So there's a fourth pool, and I could keep going. I have Lean Six Sigma Black Belt. There's a fifth pool. I have ITIL. There's a sixth pool. But I'm going to turn into an octopus before you know it, with 8 feet and 8 different pools. But the point I'm trying to make is this makes sense to me. This resonates with me. What I'm seeing here is something that is common across many, many organizations. They try to say, well, we want to do SAFe, but we don't need a release train engineer. We want a product manager and we want a product owner. And the one I'm seeing now that's shocking is we want a Scrum Master and a project manager. And these things are starting to proliferate in 2025 into many organizational structures of how they're applying Agile. And I think part of the reason is that they're losing part of the accountabilities by just switching to Agile, by really focusing in and honing in on a letter of the law when it comes to the accountabilities and the way that they're described. So if you can take a step back and say, let's not dive into the exact wording of the accountabilities and do what makes sense according to the accountabilities and capabilities without drifting all the way back to traditional project management, you can incorporate or encapsulate those things that you're trying to do. I do feel like there's a role for an RTE. One of the things that I teach in my class is a concept of POBA Fata. That's a product owner who works hand in hand and gets feedback from a business analyst, a functional analyst, and a technical analyst. And then they collectively take that feedback and incorporate it into their own decision making when it comes to the role of product owner. And I feel like if you have those things, it's going to make a lot more sense, because there's no way a single-threaded product owner is going to know everything about the consumer's wants, needs, whims, and desires, about the business strategic focus and the direction we're trying to go, and about all the technology used to build what you're trying to build. So I think that if you incorporate those three into the mix, it sort of supports the need for a release train engineer, for a product manager. I think you see where I'm going with this, that even though they don't have the same titles, those are my ba, fa, ta. So nobody ever has, well, occasionally you'll see business analysts, but rarely will you see functional analysts or technical analysts. My point is, even if you see someone with the title business analyst, they're probably not the person I'm talking about when I say business analyst. So it's important for you as a product owner to identify who these people are and align with them. Now, trying to do 100% Scrum and SAFe at the same time isn't going to work, because Scrum is solely an agile delivery framework. It focuses and leans in on how we deliver high quality products and services. The greater picture of Scaled Agile talks more about ideation, discovery, and spends a lot more time on the front end, almost like a traditional project management, only to leave your product owner, Scrum Master, and developers a little bit more powerless at the end because all the decisions have been made up front. So it's interesting to see how to balance this, because I think the real balance lies in, are we spending the right amount of time in ideation and discovery, and is that yielding the outcome that we're trying to do? So you need to get that balance down. And I feel like that's the part that organizations are currently struggling with the most. They're either leaning in very heavy on ideation and discovery and winding up with something that's SAFe, where teams and product owners feel powerless, right? Or they're leaning in so heavy on Scrum, or a delivery framework rather, that they're so focused on the delivery framework that they're focused on output instead of outcome. So there you go. So it's trying to get that balance where you have a framework that allows you to be open-minded but still appreciate the benefits, and allows you to understand the context of what needs to be built, but also give the team the autonomy to get things done. That's the answer. That's what we're trying for, and that's what we need to be doing. That's going to do it for this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to leave a comment. Let us know. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, learn more at AgileDad.com. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care. Bye now.